Chet, I think this is the sixth straight game where you guys have had a 20-point lead. Just what are you noticing about the way that you guys are kind of taking control of these games and not looking back during the stretch?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing is just emphasizing the importance of each individual play. You can look up and be like, we're up 20, it's time for, me to try to do this or this person trying to do this, but that's not our focus. We're out there trying to really get better every single play as a five-man unit, no matter who's out there. And when you do that, you're able to really kind of build on the last play and the play before that and just, be relentless against the other team. And I feel like that's what we were able to do tonight and in the games before, no matter who's out there. Just continuing to make it really hard for the other team. And, it's been shown on the scoreboard.
You guys have so many different threats offensively. What's it like for this group to have just another creator like Aaron Wiggins has been over the last few weeks to give you guys a different look and different way of creating offense?
Yeah, every team could use Aaron Wiggins. I don't think there's something out there that he can't do at a really high level, and he's been playing incredibly well the last few weeks, above even what he probably thinks his standard is, but now that bar's been raised, and it's not unexpected from any of us. We see how hard he works, and I think this is just a culmination of all that.
Chet, just bigger picture on Aaron. I mean, you've been around him for a few years now. That's a guy that, especially dating back to last year's, battle stretches where maybe he's not playing so much. He goes from last year, he's not getting stuff ran for him. Now you guys are running offense through him at times. I guess what's been most impressive about kind of what it's taken for him to get to this point?
Yeah, he's just always stayed at it. He's the definition of somebody who doesn't let a situation affect his mindset or the way he handles things. He's the ultimate pro out there no matter what he's asked to do. He's happy to do it and he wants to win. And right now he's being asked to do a lot more on the offensive end. And, it's not like he hasn't been capable of this. We're just seeing it right now. Because credit to coach too. There's probably not a lot of coaches out there that, would see somebody playing at a really high level and just decide to, let's keep throwing them bones. And, Mark's doing that, and, it's paying off with how well Wiggs is playing, and, credit to, everybody involved. So we're all happy to see him excelling out there, and, I'm happy to be playing with him again too.
And just again, big picture with the team, I guess we didn't really get to ask your thoughts about the season so far the other night because we were concerned with you, but this team won games with you. It's won a lot of games without you. Have you had time to sort of frame through all the circumstances what this team has done halfway through the year?
It's pretty amazing that we've been able to have guys go down and come back and lineups change, and it seems like we have a different starting five every single game. And even with all that happening, it doesn't seem like we're losing any continuity out there, any chemistry. It's almost like no matter who goes out there, we're all on the same page and things are rolling. I definitely think that was a little different last game just because, we're more used to having no bigs than double bigs. So there's definitely a learning curve there. It was better tonight. We're still continuing to kind of iron out some wrinkles and figure out what works, what doesn't work, and we're going to continue to do that. But it's been really amazing that everybody's been ready and prepared for when their name's called, and that's just a credit to everybody in the locker room, how hard they work, how prepared they are, and how serious they take this.
What's the primary difference? You played center most last year. Now you're kind of playing the four and the double bigs. What's the biggest, learning curve or whatever difference?
I'd say it's not super different from a lot of what I was seeing last year because I was getting cross-matched a lot. It's just now we have another screener on the floor. So I'm kind of more just filling in a wing spot. I'm not really playing as a big on the offensive end in a lot of situations. But in terms of what that looks like and how we, implement different things on the offensive end, that's new not only to me but to the team. And, we're figuring it out with no training camp, no preseason, no anything. We're just kind of in the middle of like February, figuring this out. And, I got to give credit to all the guys on the team, the coaching staff, the front office, to believe that, I can go out there and do that, and also to have the trust that, doing this in the middle of the season is going to pay off for us. So it's on me to go out and make the most of it, and, continue to have a team focus and emphasis on trying to help us win games, because, that's always what it is. It's not about figuring this one little thing out. That's part of it. But at the end of the day, it's all about winning games.
You played 25 minutes. Is that just because the game got to be a blowout, or are they kind of easing you back in? Do you feel like yourself? All that kind of stuff.
I mean, there's no hard minute restriction. But I think that was just kind of how the game went tonight. I got 25 minutes out there, and then the game was over. So,
Chet, you had 4 blocks tonight. You had 4 blocks against Toronto, 5 blocks tonight. Is it safe to say that your defensive discomfort, being comfortable defensively, is coming a little quicker than the offense? And how do you feel about your offense coming along right now?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there was anything to really figure out on defense. I'd say the hardest part is just getting the wind back. Really feeling in true game shape, especially without like a summer, a preseason, a training camp, all that. But I kind of know where to be, when to be there, what to call it. The coaches do a great job of telling us what we're doing and getting everybody on the same page. So, that ends kind of – and there's only so many things the other team can do. And other teams will start doing different things to try and figure out the best way to play against that type of lineup. But, our principles don't really change on that end. And it doesn't feel too foreign to me. So I feel good on the defensive end. Yeah. Just offensive side is kind of more there's more things to figure out and try, and it's newer to all of us. So that's a side with the big emphasis right now.
And then there's been a general conversation about 2 bigs, but what in particular does iHeart do that, as a guy next to him, that you really like that he does?
I mean, that's a long list of things. You could talk about his rebounding on both sides. You could talk about his screening, the way he gets guys open. You could talk about his defense. He's guarding. He wasn't guarding his true position tonight for most of the game, and at the end of the day, he competes. You always want to play with dudes who compete. If somebody's soft and it's showing, that's nobody likes playing with guys like that, and that's just not him at all. He's out there to make plays, and you guys see he's throwing people around to get to that glass. So. It's amazing. It's a lot of fun playing with him out there, and he's done a really good job communicating and talking. Because just as much as I'm trying to figure this out, he's trying to figure it out too. So, credit to him for being a great teammate there, and that's what he's about. He's about winning, and I feel like we got 17 guys in the locker room that are the same way.
Chet, this morning Jay Will said you can defend 1 through 5, and what goes into that process of being comfortable and excelling at defending multiple positions?
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to preparing, knowing who you're guarding, what they're trying to do, and then how to take that away effectively. Usually the hardest part about guarding on the perimeter is, again, it just comes down to the conditioning. When you're guarding bigs and you can kind of sit behind the defense, you're really there sitting and thinking more, kind of reading what's happening, trying to see it before it happens. But a lot of times when you're guarding those guards, I'm not really pursuing through a lot of actions, at least not right now. But that takes a lot of effort to do at a high level. So credit to all our guards who do that every single night, because That's not easy. And you also don't know what's happening behind you. So you got to trust whoever's talking to you, and then also really just kind of guard your yard. So it's different for each position, different for each player.
The defense, once again, from the start, and it seemed like maybe tonight Chet just played a massive factor in the rim protection and keeping them away from the bucket. What did you notice out there?
Yeah, I mean, our bigs were great tonight around the rim, preventing them from kind of, being able to drive lanes and get easy paint points. I thought we did a really good job just as a team kind of limiting their opportunities to, find drives and kick outs and put us in rotation. We had to do a better job kind of rebounding the ball. We gave them a lot of second chance opportunities, but for the most part, I thought we did a really good job just kind of keeping them from getting in the paint and, kind of making their attempts at the rim as tough as possible. So.
Wiggs, I just wonder, I mean, we've talked since last year about these kind of stretches where maybe you're not playing so much, then you are, this sort of inconsistency, this fluctuation in your minutes. But now, like, they're running stuff through you at times. Going from last year where Mark admitted, like, it was I mean, it's hard to, Mark admitted that you're a system guy, like, you guys weren't running stuff through you. What does it feel like now to kind of turn that around and be such a big part of the offense?
Yeah, I mean, it's just more opportunity. Sometimes with the ball in my hands and being a part of different plays. But, through all of it, just remaining just kind of confident, understanding, having a lot of just like trust in myself and confidence in myself of the player that I can be, and just continuing to grow. I don't think anything's changed in terms of, some of the systematic things that, kind of got me on the floor. Just continuing to kind of build and add to that, though.
And have you sort of come to terms with that? I mean, obviously now you don't have to worry about that because you're going for 20 and 40, but, like, have you come to terms with the idea that, confidence in yourself doesn't always get you on the floor?
I mean, yeah, there's different, scenarios and, just things that you can find yourself in, but I mean, confidence is 95% of playing at a high level. So regardless of the circumstances, always having that confidence and kind of just believing in yourself is the first kind of stepping stool to pushing through adversity and finding your way on the court and getting opportunities. So
Have you had a better stretch since you've been here?
I don't know. I can't think of any stretches right now, but I don't know. Maybe. You think so?
No, I don't. But I mean,
maybe not.
It just seems like you're no hesitation. You're creating shots. You're hitting threes. Everything's working.
Yeah. I mean, just feeling good in a rhythm. Continuing to kind of play confident and find opportunities to be aggressive. Just not losing, like I said, some of the basics that kind of, gave me the opportunity to, find ways to add and do more. So just kind of finding a rhythm and playing confident.
Is this sustainable?
I guess we'll see. Continuing.
I asked you the other day, do you have any bullets left? So you obviously got some bullets left.
Hopefully, I got a lot of bullets left.
In those minutes to start the second and fourth quarters, you've been asserting yourself on the ball a little bit more as a creator. Is that something that you've known you could do this whole time, or is that something that you've been exploring just with the opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's something that I've continued to kind of grow with, get more comfortable with. Situationally, a lot of times just didn't have the ball in my hands often, and continuing to kind of get more opportunities and get comfortable with it has kind of continued to just add to how I feel with the ball in the hand. So just continuing to kind of stay in the rhythm, keep playing well.
You mentioned some of the fundamentals, the important things that are going to keep you on the floor. Where do you think you've improved the most defensively this season to just put you in those high leverage situations more and more? Yeah,
I mean, just kind of continuing to try to be, better on ball, off ball with rotations and things. We've got a really good defense, and you've got to be able to kind of hold your own out there. So I've continued to just watch film and try to, get better so that I can continue to find opportunities out there.
Earlier this season, Mark said that you're a fan favorite in the locker room, and then tonight, Chet said that every team needs an Aaron Wiggins. Does that kind of belief do anything for your game?
Definitely feels good. When you have your teammates and your staff who kind of continue to encourage and make known just like their thoughts and feelings on you as a player. So definitely feels good feeling. It's encouraging, so good stuff.
From top to bottom, I mean, plug and play, especially this month, you guys have just gone in and played with whoever's out, whoever's in, whatever. Just can you talk about the confidence of your teammates? Doesn't matter who's healthy, who's ready to go. Just right now, you guys have that confidence?
A lot of talent on our team, man. A lot of depth. I think we could go all the way to 1 through 18 to kind of put guys in who can fill certain roles. And guys are understanding of what it takes to kind of win. So when you combine the talent and the togetherness that we kind of have, and you put it on the floor, it's like a recipe for success. So just got to continue to kind of have that mindset, next man up mentality, and always be ready.
I just wondered, what was your point of view of Chet during his recovery, and for him to seemingly not lose those instincts or anything that comes with being a defender he is, even after such a unique injury? What is that taken from your point of view?
Yeah, I think Chet's like a basketball fiend. When he was hurt and kind of going through, his rehab process and everything, I'm sure he was diving into more basketball than a lot of us were who were playing. And you could tell that he was just kind of itching and missing being out there. So, his kind of just like approach and mentality towards, playing the game and his love for the game, he just continued to kind of, keep a feel for, both our team and the plays we're running and, the way that we're kind of playing. And then outside of us, he's just got a, passion for the game. So that helps him not miss a beat.
Alex, the last couple weeks, it's been a really similar story. You guys build a 20-point lead, you maintain it, very little slippage. What's happening on a night-in, night-out basis right now for this team to have such consistent kind of dominance here?
I think just a focused execution. This time of year, the team that plays hard usually has the advantage. I think we've done a good job of being the harder playing team for most of those games through the stretch. And then just working on our execution. We're moving the ball well. We're locked into coverages. We're just doing things that good teams do this time of year, and we're seeing a lot of success from it.
Kind of from the beginning of the season, something Sam, Mark have always said is, you're building towards trying to play your best basketball at the end of the season. What's it like during a long 82-game season to have different dynamics and challenges in front of you, like Aaron Wiggins getting more creation opportunities, Chet coming into the fold, and kind of you guys learning through the season with a lot of different opportunities?
Yeah, I think one of the strengths and real benefits that our team can have is the multiple pitches in a sense. We have different lineups we can play, different players mix into those lineups that have a variety of skills. There are multiple creators, multiple scorers, multiple defenders, good glue guys in every lineup. There's just a bunch of different lineups, small, big, traditional, that we can play, and that's something that is only going to be beneficial and positive for us in the long run, given we're trying to win games when they mean the most at the end of the season. And that time of year, people change stuff. People throw different schemes, looks at you to try and throw you off or try and get a win. And for us to be able to develop that, all those different pitches through the season is a really good thing.
Hey, see, I want to go back to this because you were in here when Chet answered that last question. Mark has said before that he thinks only a handful of guys can really guard 1 through 5 in the league, and that Dub is one of them. Do you really think Chet is like 1 through 5 type defender?
I think he could be. Right now, second game back, he's still getting his feet under him. He looked great tonight. Probably going to just keep getting better and better, knowing him, knowing the worker that he is. But yeah, he has full potential to reach that. really early in the season, somebody asked me a question. I don't know if it was in here, but back at the facility, but they asked me about, trying to compare him to, an AD type player or somebody like that can switch on the ball and guard. And I think my response was like, he has the potential to be that, and that's up to him to determine how hard he works and if he puts his mind to it. And everything I've seen from him, trends in that direction of putting the time in and being a real competitor on that end of the floor. So there's no doubt in my mind that he'll be capable of doing that. When is just kind of up to him.
And with Wiggins, I mean, you've been around a while in the NBA now. Maybe you've seen players in a similar situation as him. I guess what stands out about this recent stretch for him and the way he's kind of, these past couple of years he's battled with minutes and maybe DMPs sometimes. Like what stood out about the journey it took for him to get to this point where now you guys are running stuff through him?
Yeah, I think it's just consistent work and belief in yourself, and then belief from the team, from the coaches. Like I don't think anybody on our team was surprised, the stretch that he's had. Like nobody's making a big deal about it in our camp, because this is just like, we know he's capable of this, and the opportunities are there. Given Lou been out a little bit, Kaysen's been out a little bit tonight, Joe's out. Like our depth is a very beneficial thing for us, and one of the things about our depth is that like the guys can play. Like it's not like we're just like plug and fill and try to get by while we're doing that. Like we're staying in an attack mindset with whoever's out there. And, for him to show that level of professionalism, staying true to the work, because even in the beginning of the year, his minutes weren't consistent every night, depending on who we played. And he's stuck with it. Credit to him, just being a real pro, sticking to the work and staying confident.
Looks like your shot's kind of coming back. You've been putting in some extra work, I guess. Is that just getting healthier because you've had some different injuries, but look like the last couple of games is coming back because everybody hit shots tonight, but not just tonight, though.
Yeah, I think a little bit of that. Being healthy, you're able to go into the gym at night. You're able to go in the gym in the days between games. I've always been capable of this. Like the numbers last year, I shot 40 on 4.5, 5 attempts. Like you can't do that in the league on luck. Like it's not per chance. Like that's work. That's confidence. That's being able to play the game at a high level. And like I knew that was kind of going to be my average throughout the year. Like obviously I probably have some work to go, just because of how slow I started this year. But in my mind, that's the shooter I am, and thankful that my teammates trust me. And like you said, I've been healthy, playing a lot more guard position, not as much 5, which helps a little bit, a little more comfort there. But just staying true to the work, staying confident. It's starting to come around.
Sort of hit on it with the training camp talk of like AD and Chet and those guys being comparable. Another point of contention, or I guess topic, was this the best defense you've put on since that Lakers team? And now that you're 50 games in, how do you think those two teams defensively kind of measure up?
A lot of similarities. I think the physical traits, 1 through 10 or 1 through 12, like however many guys we play, might be better on this team because we're a little younger. The team we had there, not that we had a lack of like specimens. We had some of the best athletes in the world, but it was an older group, so I think we used our minds, and then we were more vocal as a team in LA. But like this team, you can line guys up man for man with that team, and it looks pretty good.
Can you talk about how special this February has been so far? I mean, plug and play. It doesn't matter who's injured. It doesn't matter who's available. You guys seem to come and just kind of take care of business, whether it's the second seed in the West or whoever you're playing. Just can you kind of acknowledge how special the beginning of this month has been?
Well, I don't know what our record is this month. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You haven't lost. You're 6-0.
Okay. So the Golden State game was in January. Yeah. I mean, we talked about, sprinting through the tape. It's a long season. Like, just because it's halfway through doesn't mean that, mentally you can give in, physically you can give in. And we got a hungry team. We got a real competitive team. We, and including myself, we're young. Like, you can show up and play hard every night. Like that's not something you have to worry about with this group. So I don't know, man. It's just kind of singular focus, being really present. Like we just show up and compete wherever we're at, whether it's on the road in Memphis on a back-to-back, at home versus Phoenix, tonight versus the Pelicans. Like, it doesn't matter for us. Like, we're going to go out there and do what we do, play our brand of basketball, play hard and compete, try to win.
Joel, you have last one.
Hey, so you touched on it a little bit ago, but you just mentioned the amount of variables going in and out of the lineup every night, and obviously you guys have still been successful through that. I just wonder, like, how much is, like, the locker room a variable of that? How does that translate? How does maybe this locker room compare to past locker rooms you had in terms of that factoring into success?
Yeah, I mean, that's important on any great team is to be able to have that camaraderie, have that togetherness, have that trust, have the communication. And, a lot of that is spearheaded by the guys that have been here for a couple of years. Like, they've set the precedence for that. And for me, I've tried to weave myself into that, and I think I've done a good job. Obviously, that's going to continue to grow the more time that I spend with those guys. But it's a real benefit because, whether it's, Shea scoring 50 and me on the bench celebrating, or Lou hitting 6 threes and Chet not playing for 3 months, standing up celebrating, or at the end of the game tonight, Flag hit some shots, BC hit a 3 up top, Duke hit a 3. Like, the starters are all standing on their feet celebrating for them. Like, that goes a long way, and that just, we're all happy for everyone's success, genuinely. It's not for show, and that kind of stuff, it means a lot. So, like, depending on who's in the game, whoever's on the bench, they're rooting for them, and we're in it together, and that's, I think that shows itself through the season, but the importance of that, can't be overstated.
Mark, we talked before the game just about the kind of walls that you have to create and what needs to happen to prevent downhill penetration. What factor did you see Chet play with the 5 blocks and some of the early defense that helped you guys set a tone in the game?
Yeah, I thought decent job on Williamson. He's a guy that you got to have your chest on him, and then you got to have the help behind it. And the shot blocking helps, but the early helps by all the guys. There's a 5-man defense tonight to make him as uncomfortable as we could make him. He made a couple tough shots and still was productive, but I thought we did a good job executing the game plan on him.
And then offensively, you guys just seemed to kind of take what the defense gave and create offense out of what was available. What was happening in the flow that allowed so many high-quality three-point looks that went down for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the most variant part of the game every single night is whether or not the ball goes in. I thought actually this week we shot below 30% from 3 against Toronto and Phoenix and still had great offensive nights because we were able to manufacture with offensive rebounds, transition, rim attacks, and that's what we want to be. We want to be a team that takes what the defense gives, tries to find the best shot. If the threes go down on that night, like tonight, that's a luxury. If they don't, then we got to find other ways to score, which we're capable of doing.
Mark, just going back to Chet, for him to now have 2 unique injuries in his young career, to come back from this recent one and have 9 blocks in 2 games, just the instincts, the confidence to not really be thinking about the play that kind of hurt him, just everything that's wrapped into that. What do you think all that says about him?
I mean, you can ask him, but I just think he's a great competitor. He's got great competitive fire, competitive juice. I think that's all he knows, to be honest with you. It's who he's been for his entire competitive life. It's what makes him unique. It's what allows him to be so effective, as well as like the length and the talent, but certainly the mentality. So, impressed but not surprised.
And since Caruso came back in January, he's up to, I think, 38% around there from 3. Obviously, he struggled earlier in the year. He's not one of those guys that you probably have to coach him through a shooting struggle or any dip. But I guess what have you seen from him in terms of, what it's taken for him to get back to this level of efficiency?
Yeah, I just think it's a good reminder that, the small samples at the beginning of the season are fleeting. He has a history of being a pretty efficient three-point shooter, and he's, regressing to the mean at this point. But again, like most of the guys, he has such a good floor game. He's so competitive, such a team guy, great system player on both ends that you can play him through that. He was still helping the team move the scoreboard, even though he individually in a vacuum wasn't shooting it well. And that's where it's at, having guys that play the system on both ends and that are that competitive. That's what helps you ride with them, through the ups and downs of the shooting.
Aaron Wiggins, whether you start him or come off the bench, boy, he seems like he's just in a real groove offensively and even defense as well. But his offense, it's really good.
Yeah, he's cooking right now. Great confidence and just in a great rhythm for the last period of time. And he had the run right after the New Year as well, where he was playing really well on that end. He's quietly improved his defense over that time, especially on the ball. And just another great example of a system player. He started by being a really good system player and moving and cutting and screening and getting to the dunker and offensive rebounding, moving the ball, shooting the good ones. And it just shows that, you can master the system like he has, or Isaiah Joe or Dub, and you can still expand from there, developmentally. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. He's layering, some more offense on top of an already really reliable and stable game, inside of our stuff.
A lot of fans seem to be really excited about this starting lineup in particular, with Dort being healthy and just kind of getting the two bigs in there and going. Just from a fan's perspective, can you talk to them about the ability to finally be able to roll that lineup up?
Yeah, we're excited too. We want to be fully healthy all the time. And obviously we've had to endure a lot of ups and downs and fluidity with the roster, with the injuries this year. But the guys have done a great job of just adapting, and now we're adapting again. That the double big thing is new for us. It's new for Chet. And so there's going to be some growing pains with that. But I thought, in game one, it gave us a good baseline to start from. Tonight, we just added a couple things that we thought could make it a little more impactful. It did. So we'll just continue to layer and take it as it comes and not really overcoach it or overplan, but just let the team tell us, what we need to do next.
Mark, you touched on it there, but Wiggins has talked about how he's trying to get more comfortable defending multiple positions. How have you seen him improve defensively?
A lot of it's just the individual D, and he doesn't have elite athleticism. He's a good athlete. He doesn't have elite size. He's got good size. Doesn't have elite strength. He's got good strength. And so he's got to be really savvy. He's got to be really tough. He's got to be really fundamental, and he's done a really good job lately. He had a hell of a play on Jackson in the Memphis game. Jackson finished the play, but he had his chest on him at like 16 feet, forced Jackson to gather, and forced, a guy that usually is able to bully his way to the basket against a smaller guy into a long floater contested. And he had one on Bane as well that Bane also made. But he's got his chest on those guys and is playing physically and is sticking his nose in there. And, I definitely don't want the offense to overshadow that, because we're going to need that, in all these games.
Anybody else?
Mark, I do wonder, because of this recent Wiggins stretch, I seem to remember...
The recent what stretch? I'm sorry.
Wiggins,
yep.
I seem to remember at some point last year, while Wiggins was going through one of those stretches where maybe he hadn't played as much and then he had a good game, you had referenced it, with him being a system player, that you're not exactly like running stuff for him, and now you are as of late. Like,
yep.
Is it just that he's hit his stride? Like, what have you seen since then that's... I don't want to say that you didn't have confidence in him before, but what is it that's allowed you to, kind of breathe new confidence into him?
I think a couple things on that. The first thing I'd say is, his track and having to adapt to a lot of different roles and having to earn it and having to go through the ups and downs of not knowing how much he's going to play, when he's going to play early in his career, I think has built a mental toughness in him that's taught him how to be really consistent. I give him a lot of credit for that, but I also think that those experiences have helped him become a more, ironclad mental competitor now. And then, like I said, I don't really go in projecting or assuming anything. He's playing really well and making really good plays and, remains efficient when you put him in some new situations. And I try to let the team, tell us what to do. And he's putting me in a position where I think it's good for the team to have another option to have him create in certain situations. And he's really delivered not only with his scoring, but with his facilitation out of those plays.